Hi guys, good evening and welcome back once again to The Edward. I'm your host Eddie, and in tonight's video I will be discussing what I thought of the very good first two episodes of the third and sadly final season of our favorite fantasy series on HBO Max, His Dark Materials. That's right, season 3 premiered earlier tonight, dropping its first two episodes of the third and final season. I just got done watching both of them. Really enjoyed it. Got a lot to say about it, but before I go on and continue, of course, fair warning, I will be discussing in great detail and in great length spoilers for the first two episodes of His Dark Materials Season 3. Not just the first episode, but the first two episodes, as for whatever reason, they dropped the first two episodes instead of releasing them on a weekly basis. I don't know why. Frankly, I don't care. I'm just happy that we're getting two episodes at a time, because that's great. It means less waiting time in between the other episodes. So, spoiler warning is issued. You have been warned. That being said, let's dive right back into it. Okay, off to a hell of a start. And it is already, these first two episodes are already an enormous improvement over the lackluster season that was the previous season 2. It had moments I liked, but overall, I did not care for it. It was so slow, boring, with crappy pacing. Will was insufferable. I absolutely found him detestable and so goddamn annoying. He is now far more likable in these first two episodes alone than he was in the entirety of season 2. So I'm grateful for that. And it did a good job bringing us up to speed on where we left off with all of our characters, both good and evil, where everybody was at physically and mentally as well, and how everybody's gearing up for war in their own different ways. Will looking for Lyra, finding Lyra by the second episode so they can close that chapter. The introduction of the Angels, which was very cool. The reintroduction of Yorick Burnison, who had an excellent badass sequence fighting the Magisterium soldiers in the second episode. That was a huge delight and a treat. I'm so happy that he got to do that. It was awesome seeing him in action. It's always a pleasure to see Yorick. And I just really thought it's got off to a hell of a start. You know, they've been teasing this war now basically since season 1 and all throughout all of season 2. And I feel like things are really starting to heat up. Like all the chess pieces are being moved around and everybody's almost ready in position. And now Azrael's recruited a human commander leading some kind of resistance in another world, and now that resistance has joined Azrael's army. He's got the witches, he's got the angels. Hopefully he gets the armored bears if he ever gets to talk to Yorick. I don't know. Or maybe Yorick will be the only armored bear joining the cause. I don't know. But the point is that the army against the kingdom of heaven is forming. They also revealed some interesting things about the authority. It turns out the authority is not God. After all, it turns out it's an angel pretending to be or thinks he is God or is the authority. And that is really who Azrael is going up against, who's going to war against. And I guess the authority, or his regent, as they call him, the angel who's leading or ruling in his place, also has quite the following of angels who are loyal to them. So there seems to be a split amongst the angels who want to fight for freedom for all the worlds, and the angels who want to rule over everybody through the power of dust and by controlling every single living being throughout all the worlds. And now it feels like with Azrael assembling a massive army from across all of these worlds, or at least most of them, you know, now they've got pretty good numbers to go up against the kingdom of heaven, but will they actually prevail remains to be seen. And it was shocking to see Will break the knife. I thought the knife couldn't be broken because it was so powerful. But maybe it requires focus and discipline, as well as cutting through the fabric of time or cutting in between worlds. Although maybe he can fix it, or maybe even though the blade is shattered, it's still sharp as hell. It could easily still cut through between worlds. You know, they didn't seem to have any trouble escaping Mrs. Coulter. Speaking of Mrs. Coulter, It doesn't seem like she's with the Magisterium anymore, but she's not with Azriel either. Is she sincerely trying to be a good mother and just protect Lyra from everybody? Or does she have her own weird agenda? We don't know, but it was interesting to see a far more gentler side to her than we've ever seen in this show from the first 2 seasons. She's always been quite nefarious and wicked and cruel at times, but this was like the softest and the most gentle we've ever seen her, even though she still retained parts of her badassness by knocking out that creepy Father Gomez with a hit to the head with a heavy rock, and basically trying to protect Lyra even from Will as well. But thankfully they escaped with the help of that fairy, pixie, whatever that thing is. I guess Azriel found a world where fairies or pixies, whatever they are quite militarized and were willing to fight for Azriel, so that's cool. And then they got away thanks to Yorick, and hopefully Yorick is okay, didn't sustain many wounds against his little fight against the Magisterium soldiers. Seems like he didn't. He was able to take him out, and mostly that armor is fairly bulletproof, although he was missing his helmet. But fortunately, he looked okay afterwards. And now it sucks that we lost one of the 2 very interesting angels already. But since the angel lost his partner, sadly, it seems like that other angel, the one who was with Will, is probably going to return in some supporting role throughout the rest of the season. And that'll be cool to see, because they introduced 2 interesting new non-human characters and then killed one off right away, which was very sad. But at least the other one is still around, so hopefully he'll be back to help both Lyra and Will now that they've found and reunited with one another. And it's also interesting that through her drugged-induced sleep, Lyra seems to have discovered the land of the dead, or at least a place where her friend Roger might or very well could be. Who knows if that was a dream or if there really is a place where Roger's spirit or soul is. We just don't know. But these first 2 episodes were great, entertaining, engaging, kept your interest, had moments of excitement and action, and most importantly featured a healthy amount of Yorick Burnison. So the first 2 episodes of this season alone are a massive improvement over the entirety of season 2, which says a lot, which means that this third and final season is probably going to be pretty damn awesome and epic, and I am here for it, as I hope you guys are too. So what did you think of the first 2 episodes of His Dark Materials Season 3? Were you happy? Were you excited? Did it meet your expectations? Were you expecting more? Expecting less? Let me know what you think down below in the comments section. Have a wonderful rest of your night. His Dark Materials drops new episodes every Monday night on HBO Max until towards the end of the month, when we get the final 2 episodes of the series altogether. Have a wonderful rest of your night, everyone. Thanks for watching, and of course, until next time, may the Force be with you.